name is Miranda and today I'm here to review The Babysitters Coven by Kate Williams. This is the first book in the Babysitters Coven series. I actually started to read it back when it had first come out. I got an arc of it and it was just like a really crazy time with school and exams and everything. So I put it down, not because I didn't like it, but just because like I fell into a huge reading slump and just never got around to finishing it. So now that the second book came out in December, I thought now would be the perfect time to get around to reading it and actually finishing it, because like I said, I did really enjoy the parts that I did read. It's just that I had no time to read and then no motivation to read. So The Babysitters Coven, first of all, amazing cover. I love the cover so much. I think it's so cute and cool and is so like the essence of the book and just draws you in. Like, you know what you're reading as soon as you see that cover, and I think that's really awesome. So the book is about this girl named Esme who has a very complicated life. She lives with her dad after her mom was institutionalized. Ever since then, they don't really talk about it, and she's known at school as like the girl with the weird mom who's institutionalized, and it's just kind of followed her around, and she feels like she doesn't super fit in anywhere. She has one friend in school that she's really close with, and together they have had for a while a babysitters club where they babysit the kids every, like, whenever it comes up, and that's kind of like her connection to babysitting, because her mom was also a babysitter, and like that's her connection to her mom, since she can't ever really talk to her mom, or when she does visit her, like her mom doesn't talk to her, isn't there. So the book starts out with her babysitting, which is funny because around the time that I was first reading this, I was also reading Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting, and if you've read that book, you would know that, like, kind of similar premise in that, like, the babysitters are the kick butt ones, but in this one, Esme is already a babysitter. In Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting, Kelly becomes a babysitter. But this one starts off with her babysitting, and something really weird happens when she's babysitting, and the kid, like, sees something, ends up on the roof, like, scared, and Esme chalks it up to just it being a nightmare from her watching a scary movie and kind of moves on. But as time continues on, strange things start happening in Esme's life. Things start moving around her without her realizing it. All these kind of accidents that she can't seem to control happen around her, and she realizes that there is way more to this babysitting world than she realized. There's also a really awesome character that moves in, Cassandra, who also has a connection to the babysitters and is trying to figure out her own kind of destiny in all this, because her mom also disappeared when she was a child, and she moved with her brother to the town and are trying to figure out along with Esme what exactly their powers are, what exactly this means, and who exactly they and their moms are / were. So it's just a really cool premise and concept. I, for one, love the concept of kick-ass babysitters. I think babysitting is one of the best, coolest jobs ever, and like the feeling that, like, you know, it's something that like teenage girls usually do. I think utilizing that as like them being these kick-ass girls that, you know, can take down the demons and the monsters of the world is just such a cool premise. And I think it's real, like, it goes back to like the Halloween, you know, with Laurie, and any movie or TV show or something that you've seen where the babysitter fights back and kicks ass and protects the kids she's watching. I just think it kind of encompasses all of that, which is really cool. I think the best way to describe it would be I think they mention it in the book, one of them, but it is kind of like Babysitters meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The action and the wit of the characters and the commentary is on par for what I have seen from that. It definitely felt like kind of watching an action series or something like that. There's also some very interesting twists. I want to talk about one, and since the book has been out for over a year, I'm gonna do a quick spoiler. I'll put my hand up, and when my hand goes down, the spoiler's done. But the twist with Cassandra's brother being like a somewhat bad guy, I think was really interesting, because for so long you could tell that like he was going to be the love interest for Esme. She was kind of like obsessed with how cute he looked and stuff like that, but he would say weird stuff sometimes, like ash-hole stuff, where you just like were like, oh, is this guy just like a product of like the 2010s, you know, kind of love interest that we have turned away from, where he just says stupid stuff and we're just kind of supposed to put up with it. Like, he would say like Cassandra is like not safe, or like she like don't trust her. He would get information out of Esme very easily about like who was training her and stuff, and you were just kind of like, like it felt off, but not enough that you were like, oh, he's a bad guy, at least for me. And then when it's revealed that it's him, I was like, this son of a bitch. Like, it was just such a good twist. I think with that twist, it's also pretty special because it means that there isn't really a love interest that's going to continue into the second book. So I'm super interested to see what that'll be like. And I just think it was such a good twist that you never really see. I mean, it harkened back, I would think, almost like, not in the intensity, but like with Scream with Sydney when she found out that her boyfriend is one of the killers. Like, it kind of harkened back to that, of like the love interest being the bad guy. I think was really, really cool and impressive. So overall, yeah, I just think it was a really great mix of like action, and it encompassed all these different kind of actiony things and emotions, and Esme, you know, finding her place in the world, finding her connection to her mom, finding her strength in these powers and everything. And it was just really, really cool. I cannot wait to see what the second book is going to be like. I just think the world that Kate Williams created is so interesting and so intriguing, and like I said, it really does have that feel of like a, I don't want to say CW show because I feel like that would kind of be an insult to it, but like maybe like a Nancy Drew, you know, like one of the better shows, a Nancy Drew, or like Stranger Things in a way. I don't, just like one of those like action-packed but like framed around like teenagers that has like mysteries going on, and like the adults are kind of useless, no offense, except for the moms, and everyone else is just kind of playing catch up. And I just really, really enjoyed it. I think it was really funny, and it was one of those books that I think I knew I was going to like I said, from originally reading it, and then when I finished it, I didn't realize how much I actually really, really loved it. So I ended up giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm super excited to see what the next book's going to be. The cover for the next one too is absolutely gorgeous. I love it so much, and like I said, I just think this is a book series that is like ripe for being turned into a movie or a TV show. It just has kind of all those elements that make a really good TV show, and really good like action and good characters, and at the same time it isn't something that you see on TV right now. Like, there's not really anything where the babysitters really had to take charge, and they were always like girls, and they had to take charge and be strong and kick ass, and like that was empowering to watch. And I feel like we've kind of turned away from that now, where you don't really see these babysitter kind of stories. So that's why I think adapting this one would be so, so cool for like Netflix or Hulu or something like that. Like, that would be just awesome. It is, like I said, it's got those kind of sarcastic characters that I think you can relate to greatly with Esme, because it's like she kind of keeps everyone at bay, but then there's also like, you know, all the stuff going on with her mom that makes you understand why she doesn't want to open up about that, and bring someone in that might not understand exactly that, like, yeah, that's her mom. So like, obviously she's going to want to feel this connection, but at the same time she worries, am I too much like my mom? Does that mean that I'm also going to end up like her someday? Because all through her life her mom was perfectly fine, and then it was just like this stuff started happening. So it's kind of like that fear of, you know, like, if I start to continue developing my powers, if I start to go down this road and see like what happened to my mom, is this like my path? Is it inevitable? And I think it raises some really interesting like dilemmas of like, you know, wanting to be connected, but then like she doesn't, like, she likes when people are like, oh, you remind me of your mom, but then it's also like, am I just gonna end up like her, you know? So that's what I think is so great, is that it's like a cheery, actiony, light book, but then it also has that undertone and that depth to it that you can explore, and that is very, very good for not patronizing its characters. Like, they're teenage girls who are going through a lot, but it doesn't ever demean that or be like, you know, it's not as important as like adult issues, you know? Like, it really shows, and it uses like a good hand of showing that like these issues, just because they're teenage girls, and even maybe in fact because they're teenage girls, are so important because they're trying to figure out their lives and who they are, and the like events of the past affect the future, obviously. So, you know, that's gonna like be what it is. So, needless to say, I super enjoyed this book, and if you have checked it out, please feel free to leave your thoughts about it down in the comments. If you haven't, definitely do it now, especially, like I said, if you're a fan of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Charmed. Like, it just has that kind of quintessential wholesome quality to it, where it's like scary and just super, super awesome. So I cannot wait to start the second book. I'm going to start it actually right after I finish editing this. So yeah, leave your thoughts if you've read it or if you've checked out the second book and what you thought. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!